us Batman. Edgar Wright gave us the Cornetto trilogy. And now, from Throttle House, comes the final installment of their latest blockbuster trilogy. In the first film, our GX driving heroes were almost killed by a locomotive. In the second, the car itself was almost taken by the dunes. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and these days, they feel invincible. But little do they know that in this final installment, the brand new 2025 Toyota 4Runner will become their tomb.
Sorry, what was that?
What do you mean?
Excuse me?
Could you say that again?
They're back, but they're stuck. And because they've got horrible agents, we're making sure there won't be a reboot.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I'm panicking, James. I'm panicking. It's happening.
I'm panicking.
It's happening!
I'm panicking.
Foreigners in 4Runners forever.
You're watching Throttle House. I'm Thomas.
And I'm James.
And this is the new 4Runner. And we thought, why not add some stakes to this video today? Because I'm in a position where I need a new vehicle. I've sold my M2, and I have my classic Alfa Romeo, so I kind of want something that's a little bit bigger, more family-friendly, more comfortable, more utilitarian. And I've narrowed it down to one of these, or the new Land Cruiser. So by the end of the video, hopefully, I'll figure out which one I want. And this new 6th generation 4Runner is looking juicy. The base SR5 starts at a not dissimilar price to the previous generation. And for that, you get a transmission with 8 speeds, not 5. You lose 2 cylinders, but gain more power and torque. There's 1,000 pounds more towing capacity, and among other things, a fancy new interior. And things get fancier still as you rise up the absurdly long ladder of trims, especially into the more powerful hybrid trims.
This Trail Hunter trim, which shares the top of the range with the TRD Pro, is expensive. It starts at $67,000 US, which puts it right in the crosshairs of a well-optioned Land Cruiser. So which one comes out on top? And should Thomas even be thinking about either of them for that price? Or does he simply just need to get a grip? Let's find out.
Yeah, listen to that iForce Max. .326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque, and not one journalist online has put it under any scrutiny.
This is not effortless. This thing feels like it's struggling to get off the line, and worse, just keeping up with traffic.
The powertrain in that Land Cruiser just ain't it. It is a loud engine. It is constantly being like hard worked, not really that well suited to the Land Cruiser.
So yeah, whether Thomas goes for one of these or the Land Cruiser, he's stuck with this engine, which, without him knowing, he's already been bullied online for. So, not off to a good start. Admittedly, it doesn't sound wonderful. It's a bit slow to respond. It sort of sounds like everyone's voice was after they'd had COVID. Until you roll down the window, because this one has the elevated air intake, and then that has a lot of turbo noise chatter. Whether you look at it as something that's fun or slightly annoying on all drives, that's up to you. But that adds a bit of drama, which is good because this is the Trail Hunter, all right? That's a big new trim. Instead of the TRD Pro, which is supposed to be the Baja Master, this is the Overlander. This should be able to take on everything. And that is what Thomas claims to value in these cars. From that respect, maybe the 4-cylinder will do okay. The hybrid turbocharged complicated thing. We'll see, time will tell. Currently though, it's not super powerful. The Land Cruiser does about 8 seconds to 60. I'm guessing this is the same. But to be quite honest, I have no real problem with this engine. It's still quicker than the old 4Runner. It's got better fuel economy. And numbers aside, it feels perfectly powerful enough for the road. Even the non-hybrid, which is actually significantly lighter, still felt powerful enough. And if you get the non-hybrid on the 4Runner, which by the way you can't on a Land Cruiser, you get a third row. So there's immediately more utility. But apart from that, considering this has pretty much most of the same hardware, the same wheelbase, what is the difference? How do they differ?
In not very many ways, actually. Yeah, this is pretty much just a Land Cruiser underneath, with some different trim on top. Although in the Land Cruiser, it is full-time all-wheel drive, while this is just kind of a normal part-time all-wheel drive, where right now I've got it in 2 high, so it's a rear-wheel drive truck. And if you want full-time all-wheel drive with the locking diffs and the stabilizer bar disconnect, you have to get a Land Cruiser. So it does have that going for it. Also, the steering is a little bit faster in the Land Cruiser, and there's fewer turns lock to lock, so it's easier to park. Other than that, though, this does drive the same. It still has those body-on-frame kind of jitters and judders and impacts over bumps that, you know, aren't exactly the most luxurious. Don't expect this to drive like an S-Class. It's not that. It's still very much a utility vehicle, which I don't mind. It's not like the ride's bad. It just reminds you every once in a while that in the rear, there's a solid axle. But at least it doesn't have a solid axle up front like a Wrangler, which means that the steering is really, really nice. It tracks really straight on the highway and it's easy to drive. That's actually kind of the main thing about this. Even though this is the Trail Hunter edition, which gets the Old Man Emu suspension, which is designed for carrying heavy loads over long distances off-road, this, like all 4Runners and Land Cruisers I've driven, are just easy to drive. They handle their mass very, very well. There's not too much pitching and rolling and diving. They just get in and go type of trucks. And that's why I like them. They're very Toyota in that way. You just hop in, you go gunk into drive. Everything's a physical button that you want it to be a physical button. You don't have to fight with this thing. It's just kind of simple and intuitive and classic feeling. It's a brainless vehicle that hopefully is always going to work. That's why I'm interested in a Toyota truck. Of all the big SUVs that I've driven in the last few years, this one, even with its kind of little 4-cylinder engine, speaks to me the most. Just kind of, for some reason, suits my personality.
So
what?
4Runner versus Land Cruiser?
Oh, I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I still don't know.
This is so you.
What?
Oh yeah.
Why is this me?
Because this is like so many 4Runner buyers. You absolutely don't need it. You're going to pretend you're a huge off-roader.
I'm gonna LARP.
You're going to LARP.
I'm gonna LARP off-roading.
As a hardcore person.
Yeah.
It has stuff like this light comes out.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
It has the portable speaker.
Yep. You can hang it.
Look at that.
That's neat.
You like camping?
It's got the speaker,
You
I know.
maybe camp?
And this can link to other people's speakers that they brought in their 4Runners, and you can have like a little speaker party at your campsite.
There you go. So this would have made our camping in the Land Cruiser way more enjoyable.
Yes.
It has 33-inch tires. The Land Cruiser can't be had with that.
No, it's got the proper open countries. Well, this is the Trail Hunter trim, right? So it's got the lights and the snorkel, and it looks good. I agree.
All things the Land Cruiser can't have.
I know.
It has a window that rolls down, not folds out.
Yes.
Therefore,
yes.
is superior.
I know.
You have fun stuff like TRD Pro gets Fox shocks. These get Old Man Emu shocks. What does the Land Cruiser get? Shocks.
Shocks. They're just shocks. Here's the thing.
More adventurous.
Here's the thing.
What would Indiana Jones drive? If you're going to LARP, I know that's your hero.
Indiana Jones would probably drive a Nazi Mercedes truck that he stole because Nazis, he hates these guys.
So neither of these guys.
Neither of these guys.
Right.
But here's the thing. I don't like the look of this as much as I like the look of the Land Cruiser. I think the Land Cruiser is a better looking, better proportioned truck. I don't even think that this looks as good as the previous 4Runner.
It already looks like
In the front, it's got the
4Runner to me.
Tacoma thing where it's like, oh, God,
Yeah, it's full Tacoma on the front.
right? It's cool, but
What about the color?
the color's great. I know.
Everest.
Yes, Everest, but it doesn't have trail dust. No, it does. There actually is a tan that you can get in
Yeah,
the
I
TRD.
think it's
Pro.
called like mud pie or something.
It's probably not that. It doesn't sound right. I still think that the Land Cruiser is a better looking, simpler truck, more of a platform for modification.
But this is pre-modified. It has stuff. It has stuff. It's got
I know,
stuff.
but what if I don't like these wheels?
Do you dislike those
I
wheels?
like these wheels a lot, unfortunately, so it's not really helping my point. But I think that there's something, I don't know. I don't know which one I want.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to be operating this from the inside. And that's
true.
significantly different in this.
Really different than the Land Cruiser.
Maybe better.
Why don't I have a grab handle? The Land Cruiser has a grab handle right there. It's actually, it's really important.
Would Indiana Jones need a grab handle or would he lasso?
It's a whip. God.
Anyway, I have a grab handle, so that's fine.
Yeah, so compared to the Land Cruiser, this is more exciting.
Do you think so?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's got this like raised Toyota fake rock theme.
This particular
Like you get in the
trim's quite
Tacoma?
cool. Like I remember the GX had some green accents. This has got green with yellow stitch. It doesn't look particularly expensive. Like the leathers don't feel particularly.
No, but
smashing.
it's like it's styled. The Land Cruiser is pretty much void of. The Land Cruiser interior has the vibe of. Well, I guess you'll need an interior to operate the vehicle, so we better put one in.
I see.
Like that's kind of what it looks like.
Whereas this gets
right?
a 14-inch TV.
Yeah, it's like this is a bit big.
That is significant. It's 12.3
I
in
say
the
it's
know.
unnecessary.
What about the knobbly buttons? These aren't knobbly on the Land Cruiser, are they?
Nice big knobbly buttons. This is steering wheels from the Tacoma, so it's like meatier. I think it's a bit bigger actually.
Windshield feels more raked.
Yeah, it's definitely less of a kind of classic Land Cruiser off-road truck thing in here. It's a bit more modernized sportiness.
For the youth.
For the youth.
For the youth that have $58,000 and not $61,000.
Yes, right, yeah, or more.
Yeah.
Depending on the trim. I think that this has a little bit more storage than the Land Cruiser, though. There's more spots to put stuff.
Right.
That is a seriously like lacking part of the interior of the Land Cruiser.
And they used a very corny phrase on this launch, which is that this is a we car, not a me car.
Everybody's got to have something, don't they?
Yeah, I wanted to hit them. But essentially, it's for everyone to be in the car. So as a result, we don't get those super cool ISO dynamic.
The ISO dynamic seats.
that the Tacoma gets.
Yeah.
Which we didn't actually feel did much at all. But they
No.
look super cool, but they use up legroom.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is a really nice interior. I think it's really fun. It is exactly the same as the Tacoma. So like, it's not like it's unique to the 4Runner or anything. But I don't know which one of these I want more.
But you're still, it has to be Land Cruiser or 4Runner. That's where you're at?
That is where my head's at. Yeah, I've looked at the other options in kind of this price category, and for some reason, even though, arguably the iForce Max engine has not proven itself as a ultimately
Not
reliable.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But there's no evidence that I can see that would indicate that it wouldn't turn out to be a reliable power plant.
Yeah, they're both built in Japan.
They're both-
Why,
yep.
and sorry, why the GX is not even a contender?
I mean, a multitude of reasons. One, in Canada, it's a little bit more the price. It makes more sense to get a GX here
Right.
because the price delta is really close. But also, I don't know. I didn't want. I didn't.
You don't
like
feel
the,
badass in a Lexus, do you?
A little bit.
That
could be it a bit.
Isn't that proof that after all the things you've watched and as objective as we try and be about cars, and
In
when
the end-
it comes down to the purchase, it's all ego.
This is the one I want. That's the one I want, and I don't care. That's what it is. But I don't actually know which one I want between this and the Land Cruiser. I am leaning towards one over the other, though.
And which one's that, Thomas? The RAV4, that will do absolutely everything you could ever want or need, with far less expense and better fuel economy. Actually, go crazy. Get the RAV4 Trail, even.
I need the towing capacity.
We own an F-150.
Okay, listen, one of these isn't necessarily a logical purchase, but you never know when you need to do some crazy off-roading.
Every off-road trail in Ontario is closed for half of the year.
Right, so that's 6 months they're open. That's 4,380 hours I could be off-roading.
Right, but what about a similarly priced 3-litre 6-cylinder Defender 110? That would be nicer on the road.
Because I want to get home.
Okay, what about a fully spec'd non-Raptor Bronco?
I want to hear myself think on the highway.
Alright, Ineos Grenadier? Makes you feel like a South American explorer?
Too expensive.
Okay, fine. At least tell us, Land Cruiser or 4Runner?
Okay, for all that hardcore adventure I'll do, I think I'll tell you later in the video where I bought it, which is coming soon.
You bastard.